Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into the world of the iconic 1998 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that's not just rich in history, but could also be worth a stunning amount of money if you've got the right one. Stick with us till the very end, because we'll uncover what makes this coin so special, the rare errors that can send its value skyrocketing, and we'll finally reveal just how much it could be worth. And trust me, you do not want to miss that part. Let's begin with a bit of a backstory. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was introduced as a tribute to one of the most beloved figures in American history. Since then, the coin has seen many changes, but through it all, the image of Kennedy has remained a strong symbol of leadership and legacy. Now, fast forward to 1998, a year that might not sound too special at first, but in the world of coin collecting, it holds some hidden treasures. At first glance, the 1998 Kennedy half-dollar looks just like any other. It features that familiar portrait of JFK on the obverse, with the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year of minting at the bottom. On the reverse, we see the presidential seal, an eagle with a shield on its chest, holding an olive branch and arrows, surrounded by stars, and the inscription, "United States of America," and "half-dollar." But not all 1998 Kennedy half-dollars are created equal. Some are incredibly rare, especially those struck with errors, low mintages, or special finishes. And these are the ones that collectors are desperately searching for. Let's talk about the types of 1998 Kennedy half-dollars first. There were three primary versions minted: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; San Francisco, S mint mark. For proof coins among these, the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions with ultra-detailed, mirror-like finishes. These were not meant for circulation and were sold directly to collectors. They're beautiful, but what really gets collectors buzzing are the error coins and the extremely rare varieties that slip through quality control. Some of the most sought-after errors from 1998 include double die obverse. This is when the image or text appears double due to a misalignment during the striking process. Coins with clear doubling, especially on Kennedy's eye, the date, or the word "Liberty," can be worth a small fortune. Off-center strikes, a portion of the design is missing, giving the coin a strange, eye-catching shape. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. Wrong planchet errors, these are extremely rare but exciting. Imagine a Kennedy half-dollar mistakenly struck on a quarter or foreign coin planchet. These mix-ups are incredibly valuable. NOS proof errors. There are also known examples of 1998 S-proof coins missing the mint mark entirely. These are ultra-rare and heavily prized. What really drives up the value is not just the error, but the condition of the coin. Collectors are always searching for examples in mint state or even proof 70, the highest possible grade. Coins with strong strikes, no scratches, and original luster are where the big money is, and let's not forget about the collector demand. The Kennedy half-dollar series has one of the most passionate collector bases in the world. Some collect by year, others by mint mark, and many are hunting down those elusive errors. That demand means values can rise quickly when rare pieces are found. So what's the bottom line? How much could a 1998 Kennedy half-dollar be worth? If you have a regular circulated version, it's likely worth face value, 50 cents. A nice proof might fetch a few dollars. But a coin with the right combination of rarity, condition, and errors, that's when things get very interesting, because if you happen to own one of the rarest 1998 Kennedy half-dollar error coins, especially in flawless condition, it could be worth as much as $40,000. Yes, you heard that right. One small coin, originally worth just 50 cents, could now be valued at $40,000. Isn't it amazing how something so small can carry so much history, and possibly such a huge reward? So don't overlook those old half-dollars sitting in your drawer or coin jar. Take a closer look, you might be holding a hidden treasure. Top 2, we're taking a closer look at a coin that might just be hiding in your pocket change, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary 50-cent coin, but some rare versions of this coin are worth a small fortune. Let's find out why. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, just months after President John F. Kennedy's assassination. It quickly became a symbol of national pride and remembrance. But in 1971, something important changed. The U.S. Mint officially removed all silver from half-dollars and began using a copper-nickel-clad composition. However, here's where it gets interesting. A few 1971 Kennedy half-dollars were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from 1970. These rare mistakes are nearly impossible to spot without weighing the coin or testing the metal, but they are incredibly valuable. Now, let's talk errors, the holy grail for coin collectors. A few types of errors make 1971 Kennedy half-dollars extremely collectible. Struck on silver planchet. These are the most famous errors from this year. If your coin weighs about 11.5 grams, it might be one of these rare silver-struck halves. Double die obverse. Look closely at the words, Liberty, or, In God We Trust. If the letters appear doubled, you may have a valuable error. Coin. Off-center strikes and clipped planchets. These eye-catching mint mistakes make your coin stand out and raise its value, but rarity isn't everything. Condition matters just as much. A coin with one of these rare errors in uncirculated or mint state condition can be worth far more than one that's been through decades of circulation. Collectors also value proof-like coins and those with sharp details and mirror finishes. If yours has that fresh from the mint shine, it's definitely worth checking. Most 1971 Kennedy half-dollars are worth 50 cents to a few dollars. But if you've got the right combination of error and condition, you could be holding something truly valuable. So, what's the top value? If you're lucky enough to own a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with a rare mint error, especially one struck on a silver planchet and in pristine condition, it could be worth as much as $40,000. Yes, you heard that right. $40,000 for a coin you might have never thought twice about. So check those old coins, weigh them, examine the details, and never overlook what could be a hidden gem. Top 3, we're diving into a classic American coin that might just be sitting in your old change jar, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar. It's big, bold, and surprisingly, some versions of this coin can be worth way more than 50 cents. If you love rare coins, minting mysteries, and unexpected value, you're going to love this one. Let's rewind to 1972. The United States Mint was producing millions of Kennedy half-dollars every year. The silver was long gone, replaced by a copper-nickel-clad starting in 1971, but something about the 1972 coin still captures collectors' attention to this day. Why? Because while most of these coins are common, a small number carry rare errors, unusual features, or were minted in a way that makes them highly valuable today. And some of these can be worth thousands, or even more, if you know what to look for. First, let's talk about the design. On the obverse, you have the proud profile of President John F. Kennedy, along with the words, Liberty and, In God We Trust, and the date, 1972. Flip it over, and you'll find the powerful image of the presidential seal, an eagle with a shield on its chest, olive branch in one claw, arrows in the other, surrounded by 50 stars. But it's not the design alone that makes this coin special. Here's what does. A few 1972 Kennedy half-dollars were struck with minting errors that turned them into true rarities. These errors are what collectors go crazy for. Some of the most valuable types include double die errors. On these coins, the text appears to have a shadow or doubling, especially on the date or lettering. This happens when the die shifts during the minting process, and collectors absolutely love these visual flaws. Off-center strikes. If the image isn't perfectly centered, and part of the design is missing, that's an off-center strike. The more dramatic the shift, the more valuable the coin. Clipped planchet. This is when a portion of the coin's edge looks like it's been cut off, a fascinating error that boosts value significantly. Wrong planchet error. Extremely rare. This happens when the coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination. These are rare mistakes, but they're out there. Also, it's important to know where your coin was minted. Most 1972 Kennedy half-dollars have a D mint mark for Denver or no mint mark for Philadelphia. But the San Francisco S mint mark appears only on proof coins, which were made for collectors. These coins have a mirror-like shine and are struck with more detail, and in perfect condition, they're already worth more than face value, and of course, condition matters. If your 1972 Kennedy half-dollar is in uncirculated or mint state, it's worth more than a circulated one. Coin grading scales go up to 70, and coins graded MS 65 and above can bring serious interest from collectors, especially when paired with a rare error. So here's the big question: how much could your 1972 Kennedy half-dollar be worth? If you have a common circulated version, it's probably worth around 50 cents to a few dollars. But if you have one with a rare mint error, in perfect condition, the value can jump dramatically. In fact, if you've got a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with the right combination of error, rarity, and grade, it could be worth as much as $40,000. That's right, $40,000 for a single coin that most people would never think twice about. So go check your change, your coin collection, or even that old box in the attic. That shiny half-dollar could be hiding more than just history, it could be hiding a fortune. Top 4, we're diving into a coin that looks simple at first glance, but might just be one of the most underrated gems in your collection, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. This coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a piece of American history, a tribute to a beloved president, and in some cases, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Let's take a closer look and find out why. The Kennedy half-dollar series began in 1964, just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Americans were grieving, and this coin became more than currency, it became a symbol of hope, leadership, and national pride. By 1973, the coin had already become a staple in U.S. coinage. But unlike earlier years, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar holds some secrets that many collectors still don't know about. To start, these coins were produced at both the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, with a D mint mark. There was also a special proof version struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S mint mark. These were made especially for collectors and were not released into circulation. Now, here's where things get interesting. No Kennedy half-dollars were released into circulation in 1973. That's right, they were only made for mint sets and proof sets. So if you ever find one in your pocket change, it either escaped somehow, or you've stumbled upon something rare. But what really gets collectors talking are the errors, those fascinating mistakes that turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary discovery. Let's go over some of the rare errors and varieties that can make a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar extremely valuable. Double die obverse. This is a classic and very collectible error. It happens when the die strikes the coin more than once slightly out of alignment. Look for doubling in the letters of Liberty or In God We Trust, and especially in the date, 1973. Off-center strike. A misaligned coin strike creates a dramatic, eye-catching effect where part of the design is missing. The further off-center, the more valuable the coin. Clipped planchet. This happens when the blank metal disc is not fully cut, leaving a curved or jagged section missing from the coin's edge. These minting errors are rare and sought after. Wrong planchet error. Extremely rare, but highly valuable. Imagine a half-dollar mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a quarter or a foreign coin. These oddities always generate buzz in the coin community. Now, here's a tip: if you're hunting for one of these valuable coins, weight matters. A 1973 Kennedy half-dollar should weigh around 11.34 grams. If your coin weighs more or less than that, it might be a mint error, and that's when things get exciting. Condition also plays a huge role in value. Coins in mint state condition, especially those graded MS 65 or higher, are the most desirable. Combine a rare error with a perfect grade, and you've got a serious treasure on your hands. And what about the proof versions? If you have a 1973 S-proof Kennedy half-dollar, check for cameo or deep cameo features, a frosted image with a mirror-like background. These coins are beautiful and carry more value when kept in pristine condition. Now, let's get to the part everyone's waiting for. How much is a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar really worth? Most are worth a few dollars, depending on condition. But if you have one with a rare mint error, and it's in uncirculated or proof condition, you could be looking at a truly valuable piece, because the most sought-after examples of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, with extreme errors, rare planchets, or flawless grading, have been known to sell for as much as $40,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin originally worth 50 cents, now valued at $40,000. So don't underestimate what you might already own. That simple $half sitting in your collection, tucked away in an old box or change jar, could be hiding a small fortune. Top 5, and last rare coin, we're taking a closer look at a coin that's more modern, often overlooked, but quietly gaining serious attention in the collector world, the United States 2000 Kennedy $half. Now you might be thinking, 2000? That's not that old. Can it really be valuable? Well, if you've got the right one, the answer might just surprise you. Let's jump in. The Kennedy $half, first introduced in 1964, is more than just a coin. It's a powerful tribute to President John F. Kennedy, struck in the wake of national tragedy. Over the years, it's become a staple in U.S. coin collecting, not just for its historical significance, but for its striking design and the occasional rare error that turns a 50-cent piece into a small fortune. By the year 2000, the Kennedy $half had a bit of a different role in American coinage. It was no longer used much in everyday circulation. In fact, starting in 2002, these coins were only made for collectors, but in 2000, the last major year of semi-regular circulation, something unusual happened. Let's talk about that. The 2000 Kennedy $half was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. You'll find a P or D mint mark just above the date on the obverse. And while millions were made, only a small percentage were kept in pristine condition, making high-grade examples far more desirable today. But what really gets collectors excited are the errors, those rare minting mistakes that slipped past quality control and into the hands of the lucky few. And yes, the 2000 Kennedy $half has some. Let's break down the rare errors and features that could make your 2000 $half worth a lot more than face value. Double die obverse or reverse. Look closely at the lettering, particularly Liberty or In God We Trust. If you notice doubling or ghosting in the text or date, you may have a valuable double die error. Off-center strike. These errors occur when the coin isn't properly aligned during striking. The result is a coin with part of the design missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more collectible it becomes. Clipped planchet. Ever seen a coin that looks like a bite has been taken out of it? That's a clipped planchet. Rare, visually interesting, and always sought after. Wrong planchet error. This is when the Kennedy design is mistakenly struck on a blank intended for another coin, like a quarter or even a foreign coin. These errors are extremely rare but command huge value when authenticated. Now, let's not forget proof coins. In the year 2000, the San Francisco Mint also released special proof versions with a mirror-like finish, made specifically for collectors. If you've got a 2000's proof $half in perfect condition, especially with a cameo or deep cameo effect, you're already holding something more valuable than average. But it's not just about the error, condition matters. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and those in MS 65 or higher condition are far more valuable. Combine that with a rare mint error. Now you've got something truly special, and here's the part you've been waiting for. Most 2000 Kennedy $half are still only worth face value, maybe a few bucks in better condition. But if you have one with a significant mint error, in perfect mint state or proof condition, authenticated by a grading service, it could be worth as much as $40,000. Yes, you heard that right, $40,000 for a coin minted in the year 2000. Imagine that, a coin that many people ignore, tucked away in rolls or change jars, could be a once-in-a-lifetime find. So don't overlook those newer coins. Check your collection. Inspect every detail. What looks ordinary today might just be your most valuable discovery yet. If you enjoyed this video and love exploring the world of rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. We've got more coin secrets and hidden treasures coming your way. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting.